Welcome, Internet! I am, of course, back from holiday, and it's time for something else. It's time for something that's not traveling. It's time for a language video. So today I thought I was going to talk about language strategies and how I learn languages. And one really important disclaimer first, I am not in any way a professional teacher. What I say is just based on my own personal experience, and the apps and sites that I have used is just the ones that I have bumped into. There's probably tons of other great sites out there that I haven't discovered yet. And another important thing is that in all of my entire video, I'm just going to state methods that are free, completely free, because I don't like to spend money, because money is, well, yeah. Great, so let's get right into it. The first tip I have for you is that language classes are generally ineffective. I take a lot of classes myself actually, but that is because I go to school and I have to, but I wouldn't pay for, say, a night course in language. The problem with language classes is, of course, that the teacher has to pay attention to all of the students and can't fully personalize everything for each and every student. But on the other hand, if you learn languages on your own, then you can find out what works best for you and you can use your methods. And of course you won't get the professional help from someone who really knows how to do it and really knows the language and that are personally there. So you do miss out on something, you do that, but I don't think it's worth it. But that's just for me, it might be different for you. Tip number 2 for you is that you can use a free app called Duolingo. I use this a lot, and that's because it's really good for learning vocabulary. It doesn't have every language in the world, but I think you're most likely good to go because there are 8 or 10, I think, and there are a lot of the most common languages inside that app, and you can use that to learn a lot of vocabulary. It is not good, however, at explaining grammar and things like that, but vocabulary-wise, it's really good, so download that, it's free. Tip number 3 is free trials of websites are usually not the way to go. And I'll show you why in a second. They might seem really tempting at first because, well, they are free, but usually you'll end up learning the same basic stuff at every website you go to. It turns out they are not really that great. Wow, a free trial. Sign up. Hi there, thanks for signing up to our website. Remember, this is a time-limited trial only, and you have to pay to keep the features. The thing is, I'm just here for the trial. Oh, but did you know, I can give you a one-time offer and a one-time offer only. 70% off the first month. Okay, cool, but I'm still not going to pay. Hello, we hope that you like our website. Remember the one-time offer, right? 70% off? 70%! Would you believe that? Well, I will give you another chance, but this is your last chance. Seriously? 70%. We are missing you. New bonus features. 70%. We are missing you. This weekend new bonus features available. Cheap. To paid subscriptions only. A really cheap one-time charge. Tip number 4 is that basic grammar is pretty much available for every language online for free. So you can just Google that, insert language here, grammar, basic grammar, and then you find something. So that you don't have to worry about that as much, and I usually get the grammar, the basics at least, quite quick, so I have to focus on the vocabulary. And that's most likely what you're going to have to do yourself. Focus on vocabulary after you've got the basics of the grammar covered. So you're going to need a lot of vocabulary, and that's going to be boring if you just practice one by one word. So try to make that less boring. You can, for example, use an app like Duolingo that I talked about, and you can also watch videos on YouTube about things you like in the language. And it doesn't really matter if you don't understand everything that's being said, or even just a little bit. You might pick up one word, 10 words. It's good anyway, because you get exposure to the language, and that's what really matters in the end. So you can start by watching short videos. You can, after that, as you reach a higher level, you can go and watch films. And then it's also important to write down the vocabulary as you learn it, because otherwise, well, you just forget it. So if you hear a word in a film or a video that you don't know yet, then just write that down and the meaning of it, so it sticks. Tip number 5? No, it's probably not. It's just another tip. Okay, another tip. Next tip. Language communities are really great. So you can use a website called italki, which is where you can find a great community of language learners of basically every language there is, or you can't expect to find an Amazon tribal language in there, but you can get over 100 languages, I think that's available there. You can get teacher lessons if you pay, but this is a no money video, so we're not going to use that. You can do other things for free, absolutely. You can, for example, get in touch with people who want to learn a language you speak already, or people who are native speakers of the language you're trying to learn. You can also write in the diary in the language you want to learn and get corrected from the community. You can also ask questions and get answers, and you can also help other people out if you're a nice person. So yeah, it's really great for finding people to talk with in their language, and they are going to help you and you're going to help them. Win-win. Finally, language learning is very personal. Every person is different, and there's one method that works for you, and one method that works for you, and one method that works for me. So this was just some basic tips that I like, and you can find out if they work for you, and if they don't, that's okay. You can try to find your own way. It's just, after all, you try, and that's the most important thing. But I think there's one thing that's really important, and that's exposure to the language. So if you want to really learn it, then you should be exposed to it every day. You don't have to learn it every day, you don't have to actively go to a lesson and think, I'm going to learn. You can just put on a video or listen to music in that language or anything. That's just exposing you to the sound of the language, and that helps anyway. So I think the number 1 tip is exposure to the language. That's the most important thing. So after all, you just have to find out what works for you. But I hope that you enjoyed these tips, that some of these can be useful for you. Thank you for watching the video. Remember to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe if you liked it. So thank you. See you another day.